back here once again, everyone. Months ago, like literal months ago, I predicted that this was going to be bad. I predicted that this whole Tim Drake Robin miniseries that they were going to do was going to be terrible. I think it was going to be dead on arrival. I said nobody, absolutely nobody wants to read about gay Robin. People like Tim Drake, and yet they somehow decided to switch his sexuality because they had no idea what the hell to do with him. And that had serious blowback. Fans walked away in droves, they're still leaving. But this first issue cements just how absolutely horrendous this book is going to be. If this series, it's number one, I am predicting by probably the second or the third issue, this is going to fall out at the top 100, and then it's just going to disappear. If they cancel it beforehand, thank God in advance for that. But this is just terrible. Now, the cover art for it doesn't look bad. Had they gone with this cover art, that would have really set the show for this. So they're going to even put it here, and I think the world's greatest Robin returns. Well, boy, were they wrong about that, because when you get into this book, the art looks absolutely horrendous. Literally horrendous. Robin and Bernard look like 90s lesbians. That's the way to put it. That's how they look. Look at this. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. This art style is not meant to be here. Nothing. Robin looks like some kind of effeminate. They literally turned him and Bernard into basically just look like women. They look like just 90s lesbians. That's it. And I have some information I'm going to bring about Bernard towards the end of this video. So stick around to hear that. But it's important. When you look at the art style in this comic, you have to wonder what in God's name they were thinking about going forward. But that's not even, as horrendous as the art is, that's not even the worst thing. Because this entire story is basically about him and Bernard and the lovey-dovey gay relationship that people are supposed to be somehow happy about. I don't know. Tim Drake is living on a houseboat for some reason. We don't know and never explain the reason behind it, and nobody seems to care. It's a terrible story at all. And he's like, when you listen to me talking about it, it's like, it's been almost 6 months and I'm still pinching myself. Does that make us boyfriends? Is there a timeline for that? Or does it just happen? Or should I? Who gives a shit? Nobody cares about that. Literally nobody. When you get through the whole thing now, he takes time to let you know who is neighbors on this marina. You have close tuna works on the boats in the yard. Tammy and Lauren live in the boat next to me. They're the ones with the progressive pride flag and the works of art taking up their deck. When Pi isn't working on the dock, they're hanging out with them. So, apparently we must have a they them in there somewhere. And then there's James, my landlord. Pretty sure he didn't even know boats floated until last year. There's Louis and Sophie, I think. They are single-handedly keeping the cigarette industry alive. For some reason, you seem to think people care about any of these people and how weirdly they're drawn and the fact that none of them are the least bit interesting. But no, that's what you're doing. And when you see it now, you see him walking around and he's all giddy and hot and all kind of thing. And hear what he has to say. Being with Bernard, it's different than anything I've ever felt before. Everyone's noticed. Damien held a knife to my throat and demanded to know where the real Tim was. But that's the thing. Bernard brings out the real me. Makes me feel like there's so much more to me than I've ever settled for. That is such a hateful statement, because when you say that, make me feel like much more than I ever settled for. Tim Drake and Stephanie Brown, aka Spoiler, were in a relationship for years. It was a fan favorite relationship. They built the relationship. People liked it. People loved it. They enjoyed seeing two of them together. They wanted to see more of that. They wanted to know what would have happened if these two together had left Gotham and gone someplace else, probably, gone off to college or something. What would have happened during their college life there? How they would have balanced the superhero and personal life, all kind of things. That's what the Robin fans wanted to see. Instead, what did you do? You came up with this cringe-worthy thing where Stephanie meets Bernard and she's so happy and this is the best day of my life, and you're like, everybody said, they were like, why in God's name is this happening? You're literally hugging up the man who just literally stole your boyfriend from you, and you're acting like everything is fine and all kinds of things. Now you have him here say that it's better than anything I've ever settled for. So you're just literally spitting in the face of everything that ever made this comic good, that ever made the relationship between Robin and Spoiler interesting. You're just spitting in the face of it because that's the crap that you want to put up. Father in hell's name, eh? Then all of a sudden, we get somebody else there. This person named Darcy, Darcy Thomas, some We Are Robin initiative and all kind of thing. And I think she is, I think she's deaf or something. So she uses sign language, but she also speaks. I think, and sign language doesn't really translate well in this. But again, the art style just looks terrible. Really, really terrible. It all just looks awful. It has some murder happens in the area there, and then he shows up. Tim Drake shows up as Robin, and he's all saying like, I don't exactly trust your fellow officers on this beat. The Marina folk have some shady stories about your friends. Figured I'd call someone who get the job done, someone I know I can work with. And he's and what does the detective say to him? Absolutely not. I'm not your fairy gay father. Because this is the kind of writing you have to expect in this book. Everything has to be some way to slip something in, jab something in, push something in there. That's what they do. Nothing else. Yeah, father. Yeah, and apparently this girl's calling herself Sparrow or something like that. She just has a mask on and a sweatshirt. I don't even bloody care. And then after Tim Drake goes through all trouble of looking for clues and all kind of thing, and walking around with his hand on his chin and thinking about it, when he could have been doing that while moving and getting things done all along. No, he suddenly figures out exactly what's going on, and it's apparently some kind of giant see-through ape thing that, apparently it's the very first detective story written by Edgar Allan Poe. It's one of the inspirations for Sherlock Holmes, the story that started it all. I don't know. I mean, apparently this big giant ape thing is killing people for some reason, and there's something about some white disc involved there, and he picks up the disc, and while they're fighting, and look at this here. Now, I don't know what the hell this detective is holding. It's supposed to be a gun, but it looks like he's holding some kind of giant lump of poo, of crap or something like that. That's what he's holding, and apparently he's holding his phone out in front of him. And for somebody who has been trained in how to use weapons, I can tell you that is not how you shoot, ever. You never have your phone out filming while you're shooting. That doesn't make any kind of sense. But again, the artwork just looks terrible. Absolutely terrible. And while they're fighting for their lives, Robin's over there looking at the disc and trying to think about what's going on, and he ends up breaking the disc, and that doesn't actually do anything. The whole thing just keeps going on a rampage even more. Like, what the hell is this supposed to be about? I don't know, but here's the crappy part, and I kid you not with this on how this actually happens. I don't know how this actually happens. What he did to stop this giant rampaging see-through gorilla thing was to give it a straight razor. Yeah, that's it. He literally gave it a straight razor. I mean, here he is in his boy shorts for some god awful reason, and he's telling her that, you know, it wasn't a knife, it was a straight razor. In the story, the orangutan just wants to be human, doesn't mean to kill. By giving the orangutan a straight razor back, I help the orangutan feel like a man. But we've got something worse to worry about. Something is going on. Whoever created these glowing animals has an agenda. I need to figure out who is behind this before anyone else gets hurt. I mean, like, you know, at this point, you don't even care. The artwork is terrible. The story makes no sense. Everything is just absolute and utter ridiculous garbage. Really, really ridiculous garbage. Now, as I stated at the beginning of this video, I have some information in regards to Bernard, right? Bill Willingham, the person who created the character of Bernard Dow, right, had some things to say on his Substack in August of 2021. This is what he had to say about Bernard, the character that he himself created. As originally conceived, Bernard Dowd was many things, but he wasn't gay. I can know this for a certainty because unlike living historical figures, it's possible to know the secret inner workings of a fictional character because they are whatever the author wrote them to be. And in this case, Bernard Dowd liked girls. He had a crush on Tim Drake's hot stepmother, and that's about it for the romantic sexual front. There were no other deep hidden secrets to uncover. No big deal. So this character, Bernard, was never written this way. DC once again changed him to fit this twisted narrative that they keep trying to push and act like everybody's supposed to just be okay with it. This Tim Drake Robin #1 was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And if this is the foot you put forward with this horrendous art style, terrible story writing. I mean, you shouldn't even be surprised by terrible story writing because it's being written by Meghan Fitzmartin. And I've said it many times. This woman is not a comic book writer. Doesn't like these characters and is really interested in telling the story she wants to tell by destroying everything that ever made these characters good. And if you ever have a problem with that, you're the bad guy, not her. This is not going to last. This #1 issue is going to plummet and burn terribly. This is going to fall out of the top 100 so quickly and never recover because this is the garbage that DC is putting out there. I stated before, I said it again. Tim Drake, Robin, dead on arrival. More than dead on arrival at this point. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell. Be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.